Memorial Day, when we remember the men and women who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces, has come and gone. There were parades and there were speeches, some heartfelt and grieving, some pious and patriotic, made about the brave men and women who fought for our freedoms overseas. But most Americans no longer seem to have any idea what those freedoms are. American revolutionaries and soldiers didn't sacrifice their lives at Lexington and Concord, at Bull Run in Gettysburg, or on Omaha Beach in Iwo Jima, so that our government could spy on its own citizens, conspire with investment bankers and corporate lobbyists to swindle us, eliminate our jobs, and then sic the police on us when we gathered to protest these crimes. For Memorial Day and every day, it's a matter of national life or death that we recall just exactly what those men and women died for in foreign countries and here on our own soil. They sacrificed their lives fighting to protect and preserve our freedoms. That's right, our freedoms, most especially the right to gather together as citizens and speak out against any attempt to take those freedoms away. We need to remember our own history. There is nothing new about hired goons and uniformed automatons committing violence against citizens when their lords and masters and the system they represent are threatened. It happened in 1770 on Boston Common. It happened in the late 19th and early 20th centuries at the railway yards in Chicago, in the coal and copper mines of Pennsylvania and Idaho, and in the sweatshops of the Lower East Side of Manhattan. It happened at the Bonus Marchers encampment in Washington, D.C. in 1932. It happened in Selma in 1965, and it happened at Kent State in 1970. Ordinary Americans gathering in protest were beaten, shot down, or thrown into prison after rigged trials. The real point is not that soldiers and cops lost control, but that the rabble didn't know their place. They, the wretched colonials, workers, blacks, women, gays, immigrants, the lower class, forgot for a moment that they were the subjects of the king, the president, the governor, the mayor, or robber baron. So the real owners of the country stepped in to remind the common herd, the 99%, to get back down where they belong. Now they say the Occupy movement is breaking laws. That's true. Occupiers and other protesters across the country are breaking laws. They're trespassing, marching without permits, and in some cases violating local ordinances regulating noise and sanitation. These are all minor offenses, most of them no more than ticketing offenses at that. But listen, the real occupiers in this country are the obscenely rich, the 1% of the population that controls most of the wealth of the country. They and their army of lobbyists have occupied Congress, occupied the Supreme Court, and occupied the White House. The rich and their fake grassroots political organizations and super PACs occupy every state capital, most city halls, almost all broadcast and print newsrooms, and most university executive offices. They are an imperial power that has taken over our land, our economy, and our government. The Occupy movement is sounding the alarm because they know that our country is more than halfway down the road to becoming a fascist state, where big business and state power are completely merged. George Carlin once said, "They call it the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it." Well, Americans are finally awakening from a 40-year consumer-obsessed, entertainment-addicted, political campaign rhetoric-induced coma. No one can say what will happen now, but things will not stay the same. The founders knew what they were fighting for, and every couple of decades we have to learn all over again that the American Revolution, the Civil War, and World War II are not cheap fodder for hack politician speeches or mere words lying inert in some history book. The American Revolution has no term limits. It doesn't stop at red lights, and it doesn't pause for commercials. It's happening right now, and it will keep happening until the last free citizen has been silenced. Yes, Memorial Day has come and gone. We barbecued, we got responsibly drunk, and took advantage of great deals on plasma TVs. And incidentally, we squeezed in a few tearful glances at the flag. But memories of struggle and death don't just live in one official holiday. They don't end when the clock ticks over into a new day. Every day of the year, it behooves us to remember the freedoms those soldiers died for. If we let those freedoms atrophy and crumble into dust, then those deaths will have been without meaning, and all our memorials will be nothing but a sad and empty joke.